Man, I love the Switch as so many cool games for it, and what's really cool is, yeah, just switching games out on the fly as I kind of want to play Dragon Quest Monsters of Dark Prince here, so yeah, I'll just switch it right now as Switch. Try that again. Switch? I think my Switch is broken. Hey everyone, how's it going? Total Level here with another discussion video for you. This time talking about the Nintendo Switch and asking if this is the greatest video game console ever. I wanted to talk about this after we had the Nintendo Direct, as the Switch still shows that it has a lot of legs left in it, with a new console coming from Nintendo next year, or at least it should be, right? And yep, I'm not convinced it's going to be called the Switch 2, as that's not been Nintendo style. The closest would be like the 3DS and 2DS. Even if the console is very similar to the Switch, it would be something like the Switch Ultra, or be a new name like the Snap, or something like that. Anyways, moving on from that, let's talk about the Switch and why, it could potentially go down as one of the greatest consoles ever. First, I want to quickly talk about the controllers. I hate the Joy-Cons. I have tiny hands and even they are too big for me. Even if they didn't have stick drift right out of the box, I still wouldn't like them, and they're very expensive too. When it comes to the Switch Pro controller though, that is a major improvement. Has a nice weight to it, long battery life, not nearly as long as the Wii U Pro controller, as that lasted like 80 plus hours, while the Switch Pro one lasts around 30. Still, it's very impressive, and I think just about every Switch owner owns one because of how nice it is, and a big upgrade over the Joy-Cons. Hopefully Nintendo will find a way to improve on that for their next console. Now, when we're talking about hardware, it's impressive what Nintendo has done with less powerful hardware compared to what Microsoft and Sony has out there. While we will not see, at least anytime soon, any major console generation leap like say 2D to 3D, or even standard definition consoles to high definition, right, minus the Wii, the Switch made the most of what was given. Now, a good portion of the Switch's success was built on the Wii U's failure. I do enjoy the Wii U and think it's an underrated system, but it wasn't met well with the general public, and the Switch was able to become what Nintendo wanted the Wii U to be. Having a system to play both at home on your TV or anywhere on the go, you create those options for people for whatever they prefer. It's a great system for those who prefer, playing on their TVs, or perhaps it's hard for some to see things on a smaller screen, so, you want to play on the TV, while others who are on the go quite a bit want to play a little bit before bed, or just prefer to game this way on a nice screen to see those details up close. Then you have handheld mode too. I think we also have to note how nice and easy it is to play games on the Switch. On Xbox and PlayStation, you have to install games all the time, where the Switch, while there are updates and some games require additional downloads, you can usually just pop in a cartridge and play it right away. Something that I love and miss about older consoles, of putting a game in and just starting to play it. It's also a fun system to collect for, as the physical boxes are very appealing. Having a bit of a throwback to Japanese GameCube boxes, and Nintendo has always made such fun ways to collect for their systems. It's amazing the fun Nintendo has created with this console when they are behind with the hardware specs. And with any hardware, it starts with the games as to why people will love a system. I'll start with the Nintendo first party ones, as wow, did Nintendo knock it out of the park. While the launch wasn't the strongest, as if Zelda Breath of the Wild wasn't there, it would be a pretty weak launch lineup, but just that first year alone, Nintendo killed it. with games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, ARMS, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and a new 3D Mario game in Odyssey. This was one of the best first years for a brand new console, and that's just the Nintendo games. I feel both Mario and Zelda had a bit of a resurgence after the Wii U. More so Mario than Zelda, since Breath of the Wild did come out for both Wii U and Switch, but Mario games killed it. Having new remakes in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door and Super Mario RPG just said, with Odyssey, and then a big step up for 2D Mario with Wonder. And with Zelda, we also got Link's Awakening remake and soon a new Zelda playing as Zelda with Echoes of Wisdom. Of course, those two weren't the only series to get big games. I mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as Xenoblade was huge for Nintendo and established Monolith Soft as a top tier RPG developer. And boy, was the Switch a JRPG juggernaut. Fire Emblem, Three Houses, and Engage. I know Engage was mixed with some, but regardless of how you feel, huge games for Fire Emblem. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was quite a different Kirby game while still feeling like Kirby and being an absolute blast. Metroid Dread was the first Metroid game to be 2D in many, many years. I could go on and on with Nintendo titles and second-party ones of, your Platinum games too, with Bayonetta and Astral Chain. There was a new Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Yoshi, Peach game. The list goes on and on. The only downsides I found is there wasn't a new Star Fox game at all for the Switch, not even a port or anything. Donkey Kong Country didn't get a new game, just ports of Tropical Freeze and soon with Returns HD. And Pokemon, to me, was a struggle, at least for the main games. Whether you enjoyed the Pokemon games or not for the Switch, the transition from those main handheld games to the Switch was pretty tough for Game Freak. Sword and Shield had some performance issues and was a pretty basic game, while Scarlet and Violet, we know all the issues and how broken those games are there, along with still having outdated mechanics and ones that feel like cheap mobile games, as, no voice acting or Pokemon saying their names. I think Pokemon Snap had voice acting in it, but still not the greatest and pretty rough for Pokemon. Hopefully the next console can improve on Pokemon. When it comes to third-party games, the Switch has seen the most support for it since I would say at least the GameCube days, but probably not since the Super Nintendo. GameCube has a good number of third-party games, but was still lacking in areas. The Switch, though, had so much support in games that ran quite well for the hardware. Yes, you had some lazy developers like EA with FIFA not trying at all, and yes, you were missing some of those big titles due to hardware limitations, but when you had these developers that actually want to try, man, did they deliver. Square Enix was a huge partner for Nintendo with those big and small games, Octopath Traveler, Bravely Default 2, Triangle Strategy, Harvestella, just to name a few. It was great to see. Even a game like Nier Automata, which runs really well on the Switch, much better than I thought it would, and same with Persona 5 Royal. Developers would even rebuild a game to run on the Switch like The Witcher 3 and Doom, which was so impressive at the time. Yes, now we have things like the Steam Deck and Asus ROG. It may not seem like that big of a deal anymore, but it's still cool to see developers really try and have faith in the Switch. Having such an amazing lineup of games, yes, there's shovelware and way too many on the eShop that should not be there, but the Switch is just such a powerhouse for fun gaming experiences, and those came from both the Nintendo first party games and those from third party as well. And then the final thing I want to quickly talk about is online along with Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo is still far behind on delivering that big online experience. Servers aren't always the most stable, at least my experience with Smash Brothers, along with no party chat or very unintuitive ways to do party chat. Of course, that's never been Nintendo's strong suit, and with the way the system performed, shows that couch co-op and single-player experiences are still lots of fun for others. For Nintendo Switch Online, this was kind of the replacement of the Virtual Console, having a vast library of older games to easily pick and choose from. To start, have save states, rewind features, and then quickly exit out and pick another game. It makes the service worthwhile to me. However, it is getting tiring of having all of these subscription services now. There's also the risk of these games being removed at any time, and once Nintendo's new console is out, they will eventually close the servers for Switch owners. But let me know what you think in the comments below about the service, how you feel about it, or your feelings on subscription services as a whole. I would love to hear your thoughts. And so, when it's all said and done, will the Switch be known as the greatest console ever? Well, that's where we will all debate. Does the best console go to the one with history behind it? One that changed how we would play video games? Ones with the best library of games? For me personally, while I'm not sure I can say that it's the greatest console ever, I can say for sure that even though I love the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Super Nintendo, and more, the Switch has already ended up as my favorite system of all time now. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what you all think. Let me know your memories of the Switch, what you love about it, or perhaps you weren't a fan of the system. Let me know that too. I love hearing all sides of this. Thanks everyone so much for watching, really appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, or if you just want to see any of my skits and then nothing else and leave the video, that's fine too. Thanks everyone, take care.